So I think I left off with Merlin, some of his future predictions. A man standing on the shore of England speaks instantly to a man standing on the shore of France through a speaking stone. Sounds like to me maybe a phone or cell phone. Great Britain shall burn for 7 months. Fishes will die from the heat, and fish will grow multiple tails. Within all of this research, I found that there is a nuclear power station in Britain. Stations in Britain. London will mourn for the death of 20,000, and rivers will turn to blood. Seas shall rise up in a twinkling of an eye. Winds shall fight together with a dreadful blast. This is really freaking me out. The planets will run out of their appointed path, and the planets will run riot through the signs. I did more research about that within itself, and the only way that that could happen is if the movement of our Earth changes its rotation. Woo, crazy info. We've got this English oracle in the early 1500s, from Yorkshire, Ireland. One of her predictions are pretty scary too. Some of her past predictions include the death of Henry VIII, the defeat of the Spanish Armada. She predicted Queen Victoria by name, World War I and World War II, the Great Plague, the London Fire of 1666. She also made these two statements. When pictures look alive with movements free, when ships like fishes that swim in the sea, when men outstripping birds can soar the sky, then the world deep trenched in blood shall die. I don't really like how that sounds. This is in the 1500s, you guys. She also stated, men will be seen in the sky. Around the world thoughts will fly. Women dress like men in trousers wear, and cut off all of their hair. Sounds pretty 2011 to me. We've also got Nostradamus. If you haven't heard of him, I would recommend at least looking him up. He is a scientist that studied both math and science, and some of his past predictions include the World Trade Center attack. And I'm laughing because I just noticed my little dog ran up on the couch. Certainly not funny. The World Trade Center attack, the French Revolution, the Great London Fire in 1666, the death of Princess Diana, Hurricane Katrina, John F. Kennedy's assassination along with Robert F. Kennedy, the atomic bomb he predicted. He predicted World War II and Hitler. This is what he says about our future. After there is great trouble among mankind. I think I need some tea now. Sorry, one second. Love my green tea. After there is great trouble among mankind, a greater one is prepared. The great mover of the universe will renew time, rain, blood, thirst, famine, steel weapons, and disease. In the heavens, a fire is seen. Not too exciting. So that's pretty crazy. All the different civilizations and prophets and oracles from the past, from hundreds of years ago to thousands of years ago, predicting a very similar situation. In a way, the same scenario. So on the science end of it, there's something called the galactic cycle, which specifically means the precision of the equinoxes. That is when the center of the Milky Way aligns with the sunrise of the solstice in the northern hemisphere of 2012. Meaning, when on December 21st, 2012, the center of the Milky Way is going to be lined up with the rising of the sun on Earth. The rising of that sun on that day will be the beginning of the winter solstice, the winter season for the most part. And that's exactly what the Mayans said. A few of these different people said the same exact thing. When that happens, it is said, the different civilizations and these people said, along with scientists today, are stating that when this happens, a geometric pole reversal or a polar shift is scheduled to happen. This is when the North Pole and the South Pole switch. The North Pole would become the South Pole. The South Pole would become the North Pole. When this happens, it's said that the mantle, which is the outside of the Earth, the crust, that is to completely shift. And they're not sure whether that'll happen over hours, days, or years. But whether it happens slowly or quickly, there will be effects felt on Earth. The details of that are not that exciting. Scary, but if you want more details, you're obviously, please go do some research. But when this happens, this will throw off patterns for animals that rely on and are guided by the magnetic field, such as migrating birds, some fish such as salmon, night-flying birds, termites, honeybees, and certain animals that burrow underground, along with many other animals and mammals. Pretty much what that means is these animals that are guided by the magnetism of the different poles, they have within them these little magnet crystals that are attracted to either the North or South Pole. And there was a study done stating that when an organism has this instinct, and specifically they found that in the North Pole, those types of animals, let's say the fish, they swim north. The South Pole, those fish swim south. That's just kind of how it works. And when what they're being attracted to, when that is either thrown off or disrupted in any way, it's almost like the animal has no recollection of having that instinct in the first place. Meaning they don't know where to go, they become disoriented, and it throws off the cycle of life and nature. And it is said that if that were to happen, a lot of the animals will die off. All this talk is really just a downer. But at the end of all of this, I want to say there is some positive within all of this. And so just hang tight just a few more moments. So all of this information is really mind-blowing. But when I learned about the Bible and this next thing, something called the WebBot Project, this blew my mind completely and utterly. I think it was that night too, I was unable to even sleep. So all of this happening, now we've got this new technology, and I'll explain more details of that later. So the Bible. Jeremiah predicted that Jerusalem conquered by Babylon, and these are some of the past predictions that the Bible has some information about past predictions that came true. Jesus predicted that Jerusalem would be destroyed by the Romans. John, in Revelations, he recalls these prophetic dreams of the future, of our future. He says, flying creatures with streaming hairs making the sound of 1,000 horses, self-propelled chariots belching flames, diseases that killed 1/4 of the earth, time of global warfare in the Middle East. I think someone had war or two in the Middle East. Sees the rise of a demonic leader named the Antichrist, which is something that Nostradamus also said. All of this is a prelude to the end of the world. That's what John says in the Bible. I've never really read the Bible. On a few occasions I've picked it up and kind of looked through it, but I've been just, from all of this, I've been just guided towards figuring out how I can make myself feel better about all of this, and just praying and being positive about the time that we have now. I feel like maybe that's the most important message I can bring anybody. So we also have the WebBot project. Now this is software that was created in the 1990s to predict changes in the stock market by a business consultant, and he actually was just recently hired by the CIA. And a few of his partners, they created the software. It is a program that uses independent mini programs called spiders to comb the internet for hints of future financial news. Massive language scans will reveal a direct connection to the collective unconscious, therefore a hint for future events in general. A few years ago, right before the World Trade Center attacks, excuse me, one of the engineers or someone that was working on this, they noticed these keywords coming up about 9/11. New York, fire in the sky, certain things like that. And he realized that there was really something to this piece of work that they had put together. What's super crazy about this alone, aside from everything else that I've said, this technology is based strictly on math and science. Not the Mayans, not the Bible, not Nostradamus. Strictly math and science. They say it's a window into the universal subconscious mind. Some of its past predictions include the earthquake in the Indian Ocean in 2004. So pretty much how we type in Google, keywords, let's say the WebBot project. When I type that in, that's the keyword. The keywords that came up in terms of the earthquake in 2004, the keywords were earthquakes in the Indian Ocean, 30,000 dead, water rising, among other things. And what happened? There was a tsunami in December 2004. It predicted the anthrax attack in Washington, D.C. in 2001, the massive power outage on the East Coast in 2003, Hurricane Katrina in 2005, the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster, American Airline Flight 587, Dick Cheney's hunting accident, the BP oil spill, and what is most disturbing about this is what it's saying about our future. I really don't like it. It freaks me out, and being from Los Angeles, California, right next to the beach, I don't like what this says. It really is unsettling, but here I go. Let's see.